the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a thing. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that
If you got sports questions, you know where to go.
It's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits.
It's a success off another breath.
This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do, to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a thing. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without an inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams. I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a thing. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Apologize. Somebody should have told me the audio was crazy, but nobody did. Thanks for being here. It is Monday. Hey, we are having different themes for different days, and I want to make sure I get it right so everybody understands. On Mondays, the podcast will only be talking about the ACC. Tuesdays, the Big Ten. Wednesdays, the Big 12. Thursdays, the SEC. Fridays, the Pac-12. Saturdays, not going live. Making content all day, watching all the games. And then Sunday, start the morning early before all the NFL games. We might push it to 9 a.m. I said 8 a.m. Let's try it 8 a.m. But we'll be doing our top 25 because it will change, right? And we'll be talking group of 5 teams. So all the different conferences in the group of 5. But without further ado, you guys know the way this format works. You ask me questions, I answer them. Before I ever get to your questions, I'm going to talk about what's trending today in the world of sports. And then I'm going to hit the topic. So I'm going to hit my ACC picks. I'm going to talk about the teams, give you my picks, and then I'll go to your questions. After week 1, I will be talking about the results of the games. But for now, there are no results. So let's go. Once again, thank you guys for being here, making my life possible. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Here we go. So, first thing you need to know. The Arizona Cardinals are tanking for a draft pick. Now, is it to get more draft capital, or is it to get Caleb Williams? Is it to get Drake May? Is it to get any other top prospect, Or is it just to get a low enough draft pick that you can trade it because you know how valuable draft position is going to be this season? Like, you know there's going to be great quarterbacks available. Teams will trade anything to move up and get one. Maybe they want one. But they definitely don't want to win football games this year. If you didn't hear what happened, they kept Kyler Murray on the physically unable to perform list. I don't know exactly. I didn't look it up. Let me double check. When can he come off the PUP list? When can he come off the PUP list? Good job, ESPN, for not telling us. ESPN didn't tell us if he got off the list or not. But what this means is he's not week 4. Thank you very much. He's not physically ready to play football. And they got to start somebody else. Now, no worries. They got Colt McCoy, 36 years old, been on the roster for the last 2 years, been with them all offseason. He knows the playbook. He's been the starter. And they cut Colt McCoy. Are you shitting me, bro? This is the most ridiculous thing. The only thing you can do at this point, there's no way you assess Josh Dobbs that fast. They just got Joshua Dobbs. They traded for him. This was the former second-string quarterback with the Cleveland Browns. He just showed up. I talked to this man on TikTok 2 days ago while he was talking about why he had to get traded, what he packed to move, and all this stuff. I wrote to him and I said, hey, man, if you had no clue you were getting traded, you probably should have reached out to me because I knew. I was telling everybody. Now, there's no way he got there and proved that he's better than Colt McCoy. That's absurd. He doesn't know the playbook. There's no way he's ready. So who's the third-string quarterback? Well, it's rookie Clayton Tune, who I told you guys isn't all that great. He isn't all that great. And I hope he gets better. His anticipation isn't there. He only throws when people are wide open. Tank Dell got him a ton of yak, and he dominated at Houston. But when I watch him extending the plays with his athleticism, it works in college. I don't see it working in the NFL. Still, pretty remarkable shit, man. You go and release Colt McCoy. How much money are you saving with that move? Who knows? But what it really comes down to is they didn't want to release Clayton Tune. They were afraid he wouldn't clear waivers. See, a lot of these rookies are going to get released, and they got to clear waivers, and that's the hardest part. Are they clearing waivers, or is somebody else going to sign them to their from the practice squad to their active roster? Is somebody else going to claim them? I'm telling you right now, people are staring at that New York Jets running back room. Izzy Abanikanda has the potential to be released. And, oh, my God, if it's not him, it's going to be White. And I'm telling you, somebody's going to pick them up. They're not making it back to that practice squad. They did that to themselves. The Jets are going to lose a good player because you wanted your one-year rental. More power to you. You're chasing a Super Bowl, so you're going to get everything you can. I think it's damaging the future of your franchise, but they don't care. They're the Jets. If they cared about the future, they wouldn't have done a lot of moves. A lot of people are getting cut over the next 2 days, guys. About 1,000. So pay attention. It's going to be rough. Hey, shout out to you guys. We put it out. Rico Knows. If you're trying to beat me in the college pick'em, we had a rough weekend. I did some pick'ems. Now, I picked against the spread. I picked some crazy things that I never say, like the over, the under. I usually just predict winners. I'm not a gambler. I can just tell you who's going to be good. Obviously, my assessments were spot on about talented players. I went out and picked players that were I made predictions all offseason about who was going to be an impact transfer, who was going to be improved. You need an example. UMass won one game last year. But I put UMass number 4 on my transfer portal rankings, and I said they have improved their roster the 4th best in the country. The 4th best in the country. I had number 1 Colorado, 2 Charlotte, 3 Louisville, and 4 was UMass. And everybody laughed at me. Oh, the recruiting websites, they don't even rank them. Where's LSU? Where's FSU? Where's Michigan? What are you talking about, Rico? You don't, dude, I know transfer portal impact. I know the impact of the transfer portal. And they came out this weekend and they put up 41 points against a bowl-winning team. Unheard of improvement. Just an insane amount of improvement. And there's some jackass on TV, on the internet, saying, oh, I thought UMass had the worst roster in America. You think UMass is bad. Wait till you see how bad Colorado's is. Who's that guy talking? Everybody's tagged me on the clip. I don't even know the guy. And he's saying Colorado's going to look terrible. You're going to see. They don't have the depth. They don't have the players. They can't even keep their quarterback upright. He said they got 2 NFL caliber corners. He doesn't even know. He's talking about 2 5-star corners. He doesn't even know the roster. He doesn't even know the team. They got 3 NFL caliber running backs. And you're going to ignore that? You don't know how they're going to keep anybody upright? It's gross. But anyways, so I made those picks. Some people are saying I missed. I'm going to tell you guys. It's a lot harder to assess an individual's ability to succeed for an entire season and to assess the talent gain and loss and the trajectory of a player than it is to guess right what's going to happen on a Saturday. You know, the variables are out there. It's absurd. Like, I could tell you that Rourke is one of the best quarterbacks in the MAC. There's no way I can predict that he's going to get hurt on any particular game, day, or play. That's impossible to predict. That's ridiculous. So as soon as Ohio loses their starting quarterback, what happens? They lose that game. Right? Nonetheless, when it comes to college pick'em, we're picking not against the spread. We're picking straight up, and we're putting confidence values to it. So here you go. You go to ESPN. You go to their fantasy homepage. You go to college pick'em, and the mode you're looking for is confidence. There's 3 different modes. There's one against the spread, there's one straight up, and then there's confidence. Pick the confidence mode. And then you got to make your entries. As of right now, the Rico Knows group, we are size 655. Shout out to us. When you go to groups, I'm going to click on the groups page. There's some out here. Let's show all the groups. Guys, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are the 10th largest group in America. We are the 10th largest group in America. We got more fans in our group. We got more entries than fans of Alabama. We got this. We got more entries than fans of Georgia, Tennessee, Go Irish. We're beating everybody. Rico knows we are the 10th largest group in America. Thank you, guys. But let's keep going. We want to pass the next person on the list. We got to pass the Michigan Wolverines. Then we're going to go after the Ohio State Buckeyes. We're after the top 10, y'all. You guys can do this. All you got to do, go to ESPN. Go to the fantasy page. Click on the tab. We're going to be announcing this all week. Click on the tab. Try to beat me. Go to Rico Knows and try to beat me. You can do up to 5 entries. You better get in there before Friday. Friday's the deadline. Friday's the deadline. All right. Breaking news. Jacksonville Jaguars rookie out for the season. Who is it? It's unfortunate, but it's Ventrell Miller. Star Florida defensive lineman. Got some character issues. Ventrell Miller tears his ACL. No, I'm sorry, his Achilles. Achilles is gone. Ventrell Miller's done for the season. It sucks. Shout out to the young man. Although he got injured, somebody else is going to have their dream fulfilled, right? They'll make that final 53. There's a ton of transactions. Like I said, a ton of guys are getting cut over the next 2 days. I'm going to keep an eye out for it. I'm going to look. I'm going to talk to you guys about it. Some things make sense. We already knew Chase Garbers was getting cut because Aiden O'Connell showed out. We already know, like, some of the Jay Sternberger, one of the biggest pieces of work in the world. Remember, Jay Sternberger was a star in the USFL this past season, but he got in an argument with the coaches. On the sideline, he started bitching and moaning because they were calling audibles, and he didn't like the play call. He's a terrible person. He went to Texas A&M, left early, came to the draft, got drafted, all that stuff. He had a DUI at some point, had some character issues, and drug off the field. Well, he just got waived by the Bills. Shout out to Kincaid for putting him in his place. This guy didn't make the roster. I don't think he deserves a spot in the NFL, just so you know. I think other guys deserve those spots. I like young men who do the right thing all the time and don't talk out of turn or act crazy. I'm just being real. It's just how I am. Everybody always gets mad. You know, there's a kid today. He made a video. He's asking for clout. There's a kid out there on the internet. He's got like 1,200 followers. And he's like, Rico Knows he's a distasteful. He's preying upon these men to fail. Because I predicted Anthony Schwartz was never going to be anything. And then I said, well, I want Anthony Schwartz to be cut. I think he should be cut from the Browns. How dare he say this about a man and lose his livelihood and his job and all his income? And I'm like, bro, I'm saying he's going to get cut. Do I want to be accurate and correct? Yes. Do I want him to lose his job? Yes. Because I want someone else to get that job. I'm an advocate for someone else. Everybody needs to understand that. When you hope and pray that one guy loses his position, that means another man in this world gets his dream fulfilled. He has an NFL dream, and he gets to have it. Don't vilify me for rooting for other people. I'm rooting for the other guy. Real talk. Shout out to ESPN for having some of the worst stories of all time. The number one link, look at this at the top of the page. Stafford struggles to gel with young Rams, according to his wife. Why are we interviewing wives? Kelly Stafford, former cheerleader, just shut up. The morning after, we don't want to hear from your podcast. You don't have anything of value to me. Let's talk about one of the kids who got cut. Let's talk about one of the players who made the team. Give me a story up here that says so-and-so makes the team. Aiden O'Connell makes the team. Give me something. I got to hear from this dude's wife. I understand she survived cancer. But, I've always felt this way, guys. This isn't anything new. Do you guys remember The Greatest Show on Turf? I couldn't stand every time the camera spanned over to Brenda, Kurt Warner's wife. I couldn't stand it. It's like, bro, I don't care that she cut all her hair off and had cancer and had to overcome this or that. Come on, man. I don't care. I want sports. Give me sports, bruh. Give me sports. Dear ESPN, write about sports. Hey, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. You guys know the deal? Rubiales. He's this dude, okay? Luis Rubiales, the president of soccer in Spain. This man kissed one of the players. Spain won the World Cup. The females won the World Cup. They were on the stage. He claims they were on the stage. She was falling over. They helped catch each other's balance. He looked at her and he said, un beso, which means a kiss. And she said, okay. And then he put both hands on her face. And he held her still. And he gave her a kiss on the lips. Now, I don't like his narrative at all. She claims she never conceded to anything. She never consented to this. She's not okay with it. She was upset that she got kissed on stage in front of the world. This man has not apologized. This man claims it was consensual. He doesn't buy none of it. He's over it. He's like, what are you talking about? What's the problem here? He refused to resign. Well, FIFA finally suspended him. The players are all boycotting. And it's worse. His mother is on a hunger strike. His mother said she's not going to eat until he's left alone, until he's innocent. So she locked herself in a church in their hometown. And I guess she's drinking the blood of Jesus and eating a wafer. But she's not coming out. She locked herself with her sister in the church. And she's not eating. She's refusing to eat until everybody stops this witch hunt. Because her son couldn't harm a fly. He wouldn't harm anybody, is what she's saying. Reminds me a lot of those mothers who go on camera and say, my son was a good boy. He was good. I know he was selling crack. I know, but he's a good boy. He didn't deserve this. Same nonsense here. Now, this guy's not a drug addict. This guy's not a murderer. He's not anything crazy. But he is out of line. He did commit sexual harassment, maybe sexual assault. You call it what you want. An unwanted sexual advancement towards a woman. I watched you, bro. You gripped her face, forcing her to kiss you. It's not cool. I watched the replay about 20 times. I don't know. I feel some type of way about this. But, Mom, stop going into church and locking yourself in. We don't give a shit. All right, now, the theme of the show is ACC, so let's talk about it. These are all the games this week for the ACC. First game of the week, Thursday. There's 2 ACC games going down. You got Elon going to Wake Forest. Wake Forest doesn't have Sam Hartman anymore. Doesn't matter. They're still good enough to beat Elon, an FCS-level school, who lost some of their best players in the transfer portal. Elon actually had 2 guys transfer to the FBS. So Wake Forest will be fine there. It's a home game. They're going to win. No worries there. Next game, NC State going to UConn. Now, everybody's saying UConn's improved. UConn's really good. But they lost some of their key players in the transfer portal. They lost their 2 best wide receivers departing. And I think UConn's going to struggle with this one when NC State shows up with a new offensive coordinator, a new quarterback, and some real players. They just got a great Rosner, a great wide receiver, 6'5" out of Rice, transfer portal guy, late addition to the team. I want to say NC State's winning this game without issue. Let's go. Give me NC State. Give me Wake Forest for the first 2. Then Friday, Miami of Ohio has a stud quarterback. It's Gabbert. Remember Gabbert? Blaine Gabbert's younger brother? What's his younger brother's name? It's forgetting me, but it's escaping me right now. But we got Gabbert at Miami of Ohio as the quarterback. They got some transfers, some really good ones. But their strength is passing the ball. You can't pass the ball against Miami. Miami's got a great defense. You're going from Miami of Ohio going down to Miami. I don't like this at all. I don't think you stand a chance. Miami's going to go out there and do their thing. I hope they hit on all cylinders and they look great. Now, one of the most important ACC games for me is the next one. At 7:30 on ESPN, I will be watching this game intently. You got Louisville going to Georgia Tech. I love Louisville this year. I like everything Jeff Brom's doing. I like their quarterback. I like all their wide receivers. I'm really encouraged by their secondary. I'm all about Louisville. I am curious, though. What is Brent Key doing with Georgia Tech? The quarterback's coach at Georgia Tech is Chris Winkie, former Heisman Trophy winner, Florida State great. And Georgia Tech went out there and got a ton of players in the transfer portal. Now, Haynes King won that quarterback battle, like I said he would, because he's a great quarterback. Like, he can just win battles in camp. It's what he does. It's what he did at A&M 2 years in a row, and he's doing it here. So I think Georgia Tech's going to be improved, more improved than we're used to, but I still don't see them winning this game. I want Louisville to win this game. I have Louisville winning 9 games this year, and this is one of them. So I'm hoping Louisville wins that game. Next day, you've got Virginia going to Tennessee. Tennessee loves it, bro. I don't know Tennessee's whole schedule, but last year Tennessee had to play Pitt. And when Tennessee played Pitt, Pitt took them to overtime. Everybody talks about Tennessee, one of the top 4 teams in the SEC. Tennessee, perennial power. Everybody's writing me this shit about Tennessee belonging in the playoffs, and Tennessee's amazing, and Josh Heupel, this, that. Bro, go watch the tape. Last year, overtime, week 2, overtime against Pitt. They won the game, but they went to overtime with an average-ass team from the ACC. And that's my point. That's why the SEC has to play 9 conference games, because you're going to run into just average teams giving you the work, giving you the business. Unfortunately, Virginia's below average, and they're not going to give Tennessee the business at all. Okay, I think Virginia struggles. I want to see if Tony Muskett's the starting quarterback and what he does. This is a transfer from the FCS, coming over from Monmouth. Transfers into Virginia. If you guys don't know, fun fact about Virginia, they actually have every single player didn't lose a year of eligibility last year because of the mass shootings. They were all afforded a chance to get an additional year of eligibility. So we're talking about COVID. Last year doesn't count. So if you were there as a freshman in 2020, that didn't count. 21, you could have redshirted. 22 doesn't count. You could be in your 4th year at Virginia right now as a redshirt freshman, and you're at your 4th year. You could have your degree and everything. You could be a doctor. It's nuts the way Virginia's getting their stuff done. Next game, biggest pillow fight of the weekend in the I'm pretty sure in the Power 5, but the biggest pillow fight ever. Northern Illinois looks anemic to me. If you guys don't know, Northern Illinois running backs coach left the team. He went to go be the running backs coach at Minnesota. And when he left, there was a fallout between the head coach and all the running backs. And all the running backs wrote me on TikTok, and they told me I had it wrong. They told me, Rico, this is not what happened. But then they didn't explain what happened. Every last one of those young men wrote me and said, Rico, you got it wrong. We didn't leave because of this. Okay, well then tell me. None of them would tell me. But Northern Illinois lost 6 running backs in the transfer portal this offseason. 6. They're completely void of running backs at this point. Their second leading rusher is the only kid who stuck around. I think Northern Illinois is hapless. But if there's anybody that's just as bad, it's got to be Boston College. Boston College fired their previous head coach when he went 7-6. So how the hell Helfrey, their current head coach, Jeff Helfrey, how he kept his job after going 3-9, I'll never know. They went 3-9 last year, and they lost. They lost to UConn, a rival. It's not a rival, bro. It's UConn. It's not supposed to be a rival. You're a Power 5 school. They're UConn, but UConn beat them 13-3. Now Boston College had an atrocious offense, but they had Zay Flowers. They still couldn't score. I watched that team so many times on tape, and I looked at it, and I thought, this is a terrible offense. I could read every play before the snap. Just formation alignment alone, down and distance, coincided with alignment. I knew what the play was before the snap. After about 3 games, I watched film because I was looking at Zay Flowers every single play. So I went and I watched 3 games in a row. I'm watching Zay Flowers every play, and I go, oh, my God, I know the route. If I figured it out that fast while watching film, how fast do you think defensive coordinators figured it out? How fast do you think defensive players figured it out? So this is why Boston College was absolute horseshit, atrocious last year. Is their offensive scheme, alignments, everything about them was just terrible. And they lost a ton of games. And I think they're going to get their coach fired. Now, hopefully they're improved, but they lost their starting quarterback to the transfer portal. He went to Pitt. All right, Jerkovic left. I don't know. They lost Gill. He transferred all the way across the damn world. Remember Gill? Jalen Gill transferred from Ohio State to Boston College and then just transferred. He's at Fresno State right now. I think Boston College wins this game just off of sheer things like home field advantage, the fact that Northern Illinois looks hapless. But this is a game where I'm like, I don't even know who's going to score. I don't know how they score. These teams look bad. I don't know how they score. I don't know what the under is on this, but I'm going to write it down. I'm taking the under on that game. I don't even know what it is. I just don't think either one of those teams is good. Oh, by the way, Virginia, losing Nick Jackson, their number 1 tackler for the last 4 years. He just transferred to Iowa. That's going to hurt them. But it doesn't matter. Tennessee's going off. So back to the next game here. We got Wofford at Pitt. Pitt's going to win this game. Nothing to really talk about. Pitt lost Israel Boniconda. They lost Slovis. They're starting quarterback, starting running back. Pitt's got a lot of holes to fill, but it's always next man up with them, and they're Pitt tough. So I believe Narduzzi's got something. He's got a team. He'll be fine. Dino Babers better be blowing out teams. You got Colgate coming in. Shouldn't be an issue. Shout out to Syracuse. Let's see what they look like. They have a great quarterback in Schrader. I believe in him. Now, you got North Carolina ranked 21, South Carolina unranked. North Carolina's got to go to Columbia to play South Carolina. I'm telling you right now, I'm on record. I'm taking South Carolina to win this game. I feel like Shane has these guys playing great. Beamer ball is real. Shane Beamer's great. And North Carolina, for me, being ranked 21, I just don't see it. They lost their entire secondary. They lost Dre Bly, their secondary coach. He left. I think their top 6 defensive backs left. They lost their top 2 wide receivers to the NFL draft. Shout out to Josh Downs and Green. Their number 1 wide receiver transferring in, Vontez Walker. Ineligible, can't even play. Tez Walker can't play. And you got yourself, a good kid out of Georgia Tech. In who is it, Coleman? It'll come to me. I think it's Malcolm. No, not Malcolm Coleman. It'll come to me. But you have a good player in the slot, Malcolm. But I just don't see it, man. Your leading rusher was Drake May. You also lost your offensive coordinator, Phil Longo. He went to Wisconsin. So I just feel like South Carolina's got this, guys. Home field advantage, late at night. I'm watching the game, and I'm excited for it. Next game, Old Dominion at Virginia Tech. If you don't remember last year, Old Dominion won this game. But here's the problem. Old Dominion had 3 draft picks in the NFL, the most from the group of 5. Old Dominion had 3 draft picks. People don't even realize this. 3 draft picks. And then they had other guys that were probably draft pick worthy hit the transfer portal. Their starting quarterback, he's now at Western Michigan. Their starting running back, Blake Watson, back-to-back 1,000 yards. Well, he didn't have 1,000 last year, but he had 1,021, and then last year he was like 900 something. Blake Watson transfers to Memphis. So I think Old Dominion isn't poised to do this upset again. And Virginia Tech, Brent Pry, he better figure it out. Starting Grant Wells at quarterback again, because I told you anybody's better than Kyron Drones. Losing your leading wide receiver, Caleb Smith, he went to the transfer portal, transferred to Notre Dame, and then he retired due to injuries. But Virginia Tech has a secret weapon that I really believe in. And I hope they feed him the rock 100 times over. And that's Baishal Tutton. Baishal Tutton, North Carolina A&T, FCS All-American running back, hit the transfer portal. You guys want to know how good Baishal Tutton is? Baishal Tutton had an offer from Georgia when he hit the portal. All those NFL running backs at Georgia? No. Baishal Tutton had an offer first. As soon as he hit the portal, Georgia reached out and said, hey, you're better than anybody on our roster. You want to come over here? The man just rushed for 1,400 yards, almost 7 yards a carry at North Carolina A&T. He's a workhorse. He's a beast. Turn on the tape. Baishal Tutton is real. And he's the starting running back at Virginia Tech. He's so good that one of the backup running backs at Virginia Tech got in the transfer portal and transferred to North Carolina A&T. He might not start. He's going to be the backup or the starter, but we'll see. But my point is Virginia Tech's got a rushing attack this year. I hope they rely on it. I hope it keeps their offense moving. They move the chains. I think they win that game. Then the showdowns. Sunday night, LSU at Florida State. Last year, LSU loses this game. Florida State wins 20-19. It was early in the season, right? It was a new coaching staff. Brian Kelly didn't have his stuff together, blah, blah. I hear every excuse in the world. The reality is Florida State is loaded this year. They have their starting transfers everywhere. They have the best defensive lineman in the country in Jared Verse. Should have went to the NFL draft, changed his mind, said he wanted to come back and win something meaningful. But even when I see Florida State hitting on all cylinders, they didn't blow out Oklahoma in their bowl game, and they tried to. But Oklahoma looked the part and gave them a hell of a game in the bowl game. Both teams wanted to win that because they wanted fairly good rankings in the offseason. They wanted, when you win a bowl game or you play a bowl game, it's either the last game of that season or it's your first game of 2023. It's your first game of the next season. You like to say, hey, our season, we're erasing that thing. Let's go. So, with that being said, Florida State hit the transfer portal hard. Got a ton of players. LSU hit the transfer portal really hard. I got to pick one. And I don't want to. But I think LSU goes on the road and wins this game. Now, I want Florida State to win this game. I want Florida State to win this game for the sake of the ACC. They need it. They need to win this because I don't think Florida State's better than Clemson. And if Florida State wants to be a top 10 team nationally, they got to have this win. If they don't, they're going to have 2 losses. Potentially 3. They could just lose one anywhere. But they have great wide receivers. They have a great running back, a great quarterback. Florida State can very easily win this game. We'll see what happens. But I'm taking LSU on the road. Taking LSU on the road. I hate saying that. I don't even want to repeat it. Give me Florida State. I'm taking Florida State. Florida State at home beats LSU 2 years in a row. I still think LSU is the best team in the SEC. The hell am I saying? Monday night, the game I care about. Monday night, the game I care about. Clemson at Duke. Clemson at Duke. Listen to me. Duke is a very good football team. I still think they lose this game, but Duke is pretty damn good, man. Riley Leonard is a poor man's Cade Klubnik. He's a poor man's Drake May. I think he's better than Cade Klubnik right now. Riley Leonard, the quarterback for Duke, is a complete stud. Remember, I told you guys this. Riley Leonard is a complete stud for Duke. Duke's defense is coached. Mike Elko, the head coach for Duke, former defensive coordinator at Texas A&M. I think Mike Elko might get hired back at A&M if they have a good season. And Jimbo Fisher's trash. Just remember that. But I got Clemson winning the game. I think Clemson is great, and they did amazing in the transfer portal. I hope you guys get to see Peter Woods, the number 1 defensive lineman in America last year in high school football. I hope you get a chance to see Peter Woods. He was at Thompson High School, and while everybody was talking about Trent Seaborn winning the state title because he was in the 8th grade, turn on the tape. There's somebody in there dominating the entire game, and it's Peter Woods, the defensive lineman for Clemson. He is the best. I think he's a 4-year starter. I think he's 3-year starter. He's going to go to the NFL early. This is the best defensive lineman coming out of high school last year. Peter Woods, he's an impact player, just a complete monster. Make sure you watch Peter Woods. Every time the TV's on, look at the defensive line, watch him. Another guy to keep an eye out for, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. That's right, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He's a linebacker for Clemson. And Jamal Anderson Jr. I hope he gets in the game. He is Dirty Bird. Remember Dirty Bird, Jamal Anderson? Yeah, for the Falcons. He's a little running back, a little stout running back in 97. Well, let me tell you something. Jamal Anderson was like 5'7". His son is 6'4". He was just the star player, star linebacker with Caleb Downs at Mill Creek, winning the state title here in Georgia, 7A football. So these are great kids. So, yeah, there's my picks all the way up and down. Once again, just to sum it up, I got Wake Forest, NC State, Miami, Louisville, Tennessee, Boston College, Pitt, Syracuse, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Florida State, and Clemson. Those are my picks for the week. We'll see how it turns out. All right, enough of that. I'm going to leave that up there just for reference. But let's go back over here and see what you guys are talking about. Welcome to the chat. Here we go. Tyler McNamee says, Rico, happy ACC Monday. Want to hear your thoughts on FSU's backfield. Benson gets the buzz, but Keziah Holmes made the two deep release today. Norvell has coached some talented running backs during his career. Okay. So here's what I'll say to you guys. Keziah Holmes, originally from Florida, went to Penn State. It didn't work out at Penn State, and he hit the transfer portal really early in the year. Remember, he lost his starting position because Penn State just said, yo, I know we got other guys on this team running the rock, but we're going to go with these two freshmen. And some of the other guys that had rushing yards, they had like 400 and 500 rushing yards. They transferred to other schools. I think one went to Notre Dame and one went to Mississippi State. But Keziah Holmes was not even in the two deep. He was like fifth string at Penn State. But he was convinced he's a baller. So he hit the portal and just sat out all year. He's been in the portal like since September. He was just chilling in there. So when I saw him going to Florida State, I was like, okay, welcome back home. I thought the young man had over-evaluated his talent. Well, apparently not. Apparently he's in the two deep. He's the backup running back. Obviously, Trayshawn Ward just hit the portal, went to K-State. He wants to be the marquee back, replacing Deuce Vaughn. Trayshawn Ward's a great running back. Obviously, if you guys don't know the story behind Benson, Benson, the running back for Florida State, Trey Benson, used to be at Oregon, and he had a knee injury. And they said his knee injury was a lot like Jalen Smith. Remember Jalen Smith, Notre Dame linebacker, went to the Cowboys, got a knee injury, and it was nerve damage in the knee. And when you have nerve damage, if any of you guys know this, without stem cell growth of some sort, nerve damage is permanent. And we don't even know how to fix nerve damage as human beings. Our doctors, we haven't figured that part out yet. There's some things we don't know about. We're not very good with spinal cords. We're not very good with brains. And we're not very good with nerves. Those are our biggest three issues on the medical side of the house. They said he had nerve damage in his knee and he wasn't going to be a good running back anymore. Well, I got news for you. Them doctors were wrong because Trey Benson is a beast. Now, I hope Keziah Holmes gets his carries. I hope he does well. There was another guy. He has like a Samoan name. Forgot his name. Something with a T, Toley or something like that. Running back at Florida State. He's now third string, fourth string. Who knows? But shout out to Keziah Holmes. Welcome back home. And I hope he does his thing. Rob Mack says, I know you are unfazed by the haters on the game spreads, but do you see yourself putting out some weekly player predictions moving forward? You called Great House and smoke went off against FIU. Yeah, man, Rob Max, you hit it right on the head. So, guys, there's something that can't be denied. It doesn't matter what anybody says. I evaluate players correctly, 100%. My draft assessment of players, my assessment of draft classes so far in the preseason, so far in all these games, yeah, I'm hitting something absurd. Like somebody will write me and be like, Rico, you missed on so-and-so. You missed on this guy. I missed on like 3 guys. I don't care if I miss on 25 guys. That's still 90%. That's better than any of these damn scouts. When they assess their draft classes, how many draft picks make an impact on your team? What, 3 a year? When you guys think somebody had a great draft class, how many actually make an impact on the team? 3 a year? That means those scouts are missing on the other 4. They bat less than 500. And I'm sitting over here going, yeah, I bet I do all right. Now, my picks this week, they weren't great. My picks weren't great. I couldn't predict that UTEP's head coach would shit the bed when it came to clock management and play selection at the end of the game. I couldn't predict Rourke would get injured in the San Diego State game. So I missed there. I didn't know Navy was going to come out and not be prepared for the football season. Shout out to their head coach, right? It's his first season as a head coach. Didn't have him ready. So I missed there. I got the U.S. I told you guys San Jose State was going to cover. I knew they would be able to score points and cover. I know how good San Jose State is. I watched them play against Auburn last year. I watched them play every single game. I know San Jose State's roster inside and out. I believe in that roster. So I told you guys, I said Vandy was going to cover the spread on Hawaii. How would I know an SEC team couldn't cover the spread on Hawaii? It's a bad call on my part. Shout out to Timmy Chang for having his team together. And obviously FIU took a big lead on La Tech, and they looked terrible initially, and they came back and won. But here's the thing. When I tell you guys a player's going to dominate, I'm right. When I tell you this guy's going to be a stud, I'm right. How the coaches utilize them, I don't know. What the coaches do in those situations, I can't predict. But I can tell you how great players are going to be. So I appreciate you recognizing that, Rob Max, because I was spot on with Smoke, spot on with, a couple of guys. Even Say Bangora looked good, even though they couldn't run the ball anymore. Thank you for recognizing that. I'm going to still make my picks. It's interaction. People click on the video and watch it. I don't give a shit. It's I have no fear. I'm not losing any credibility with my takes. Aiden O'Connell is firmly on a squad and looked better than a lot of other guys ahead of him. All these nerds that give their takes, they're telling me the players I'm picking, you'll be lucky if he's a practice squad player. No, he's putting dudes out of business. He's taking guys off the roster. Right? I'm picking players that are taking people's roster spots and jobs. Shout out to Ivan Pace Jr., undrafted, going to be starting. Who was talking about him first? Go check the date stamp. That's another thing. When you guys check this guy, he just talks about guys after they hit, and he just claims. Like one kid claims I'm making claims with no proof. He's like, he just puts out so many videos, we can't even see when he said these things. Bruh, I provide the hashtag, the date stamp. I provide the video every time. Go check the I Am Right playlist. Stop looking around. Watch the I Am Right playlist. Thanks for being here, Rob Max, though. I appreciate your support, brother. Hit that like button. Thank you, T. Shout out to Steve Talbot. He's one of my moderators. He says, welcome in, everybody. It's ACC. Ask only questions on ACC. Remember, like and subscribe to the show. Thank you for liking it before you come in. Always like it. It'll get more people in here, and more people can learn. We're tired of the world being uninformed. Number one college football insider on everything CFB. Thank you very much, T. I appreciate you, brother. Connor says, 8 months ago, I was a strict NBA fanatic. Could tell you everything about everyone. Because of you, Rico, I've increased my knowledge 10 times on college football, a subject I was casual at previously, inspiration. Shout out to you, Connor. It's because of you, bro. You can learn. There's information in books, but if you don't read them, you can't get there, right? I put the information in videos, but you still got to watch them. So I give you a ton of credit for watching them. I'll tell you guys this. I used to play fantasy baseball on Yahoo Fantasy Baseball. I used to play the hell out of it. And I remember drafting Jermaine Dye and knowing every player in the league inside. I'm a statistical monster. Like, I'm doing this. And I was playing fantasy baseball. And then one year, I guess it was maybe near the Barry Bonds era, I just gave up on fantasy baseball. You guys, I could watch a game of baseball right now and not know a single player on one of the teams. No clue who they are. Like, there was a guy just the other day, and he's retiring, and everybody's talking about him. I'm like, I don't even know who that kid is. I stopped giving a shit a long time ago. And I haven't cared for like 15, 20 years. I could watch the All-Star game, and I could name 3 guys. I'm like, where's Mike Trout? Where's Mike Trout? That's what I would say to you. I don't even know. And so, I feel there's people like this about college football. Like, they don't have a clue who these other teams are. They don't know who the coaches are, who the players are. They just know they're one team. So my goal is to maybe teach you guys about a hidden gem. Give you a reason why. When we were live streaming this weekend and people were watching the games with me, now I will admit I didn't make a lot of money this weekend. It didn't go well because I was too busy watching live streams, hanging out with people, having a good time when I could have been making content the entire time. So that's on me. It's a learning experience. But this weekend was very underwhelming for me personally because I did the wrong thing. I hung out with you guys and watched sports. But when we watched the games, we would flip through the channels watching all the different games, and you guys would be like, oh, Rico, what about that guy? What about that guy? What about? We learned so many names. We talked about so many different players. And I keep saying we learned, but when I say we, I mean the community of you guys, right? The 30 people watching with me every day, all day. But it was kind of neat, but it's not, my goal is to just make sure I want you guys to think about how much you knew about a particular team before the conversation, and then how much do you know about it after the conversation. For example, today, the ACC. How much do you know about these teams before we started this podcast? And then when it's over, how much are you going to know about these teams? How much do you know about the ACC as a whole? And we're going to do that every single day. And we're just going to keep rotating a different conference every single day. And you guys are going to slowly hear all the information. Now, how much you retain, how much you apply, I don't know. But it's nice to know that I'm informing you guys, so I appreciate that. Thank you for having the attention to detail and willingness to learn, though, Connor. That's important, and that's pretty much why I'm successful. Thank you so much, man. Christian says, you think Klubnik will be any good for Clemson this year? So I think Cade Klubnik is a hell of a player. I think he's a professional quarterback. So, yes, I think Cade Klubnik will be good for Clemson this year. I believe in him. I'm excited for him. I'm telling you right now, I watched him play in high school at Westlake many, many years. His star wide receiver in high school was Greathouse, the wide receiver that scored 2 touchdowns for Notre Dame. So imagine Cade Klubnik and Greathouse. I think they won 3 state titles. Just linking up with this kid all over the field. And I'm watching it going, I think one year they played against Jackson Arnold and Geyer, right? Denton Geyer. And I was just watching, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, these players are amazing. And I still feel that way. So I think he's a great quarterback. Cade Klubnik, sleeper, Heisman if they go undefeated, but I really like him. I really do. Evan Kramer says, Brent Pry said that opponents should be prepared to see both quarterbacks this year. Do you think that's smoke as well? I know you don't think too highly of Drone since he never saw the field at Baylor. So, yeah, what Evan Kramer's talking about, Brent Pry, if you don't know who that is, that's the head coach at Virginia Tech. So he tells the public, you should be prepared to see both quarterbacks this year. Well, first and foremost, Kyron Drones is a dual-threat quarterback. He's not starting. He's a transfer from Baylor coming in. Kyron Drones is terrible, unequivocally terrible. Like, he's just not good. And how do I make that assessment? Well, he never saw the field at Baylor, like he's saying. Blake Shapen was playing terrible last year for Baylor late in the season. And Baylor coaches still didn't put Kyron Drones in. They were like, nah. We know how bad he is. We see him at practice. He's not better than what we got on the field. And that dude's stinking it up, and they're like, nah, Drones ain't getting in. And now Drones transfers to Virginia Tech, and if you thought he was any good, he's still not getting in. He's not named the starter. He couldn't beat out Grant Wells, who's not great, right? Grant Wells is not known for being all that great. So now what you do is you go out to the public and you say this, do I think it's smoke? I think it's a jaded or maybe a split locker room. I bet that half that team wants Kyron Drones to be the starting quarterback and the other half wants Grant Wells. So you have to say this so you don't lose your locker room. Why else would you say it? I think coaches say these things to keep kids from hitting the transfer portal, from getting down on themselves, lower morale, for, people are going to polarize. Have you guys ever been in a group setting before? Maybe you haven't played team sports. But let's say you're at work and you're in the break room. Let's say there's 2 TVs. There's 2 TVs in the break room. Maybe it's a big break room. And one TV has on CNN and the other TV has on ESPN. Do you know what type of demographics would go sit at each one? What type of demographics would be sitting in front of the ESPN TV versus the CNN TV? I see this in the Army all the time. We have these DFACs, dining facilities, chow halls, where people go eat. And when you walk into the DFAC, there's one TV for ESPN, and then across the entire other section, and these are big cafeterias, right? Seat 1,000 people. So they go to the other side, and there's a TV of CNN. And then I just watch and I study. I'm very observant, and I watch people grab their trays and start walking towards a certain TV. And they'll just stop and look at both TVs and go, which one do I want to sit by? Who do I want to sit with in my group? And in front of the ESPN TV will be a younger crowd, everybody in their 20s, sports fans. It'll be maybe black kids, Hispanic kids, some white kids. But go look at that CNN TV. It's all the older leaders, the officers. It's all white. It's crazy, bro. It's almost like segregation within the DFAC. It's almost like you were told you can't sit here. And then as you get your tray, you want to sit by somebody that you feel comfortable with, and you look and you go, well, I can't sit with all those old white guys. So you just go sit over here with all your boys. Go sit with all your friends. I'm telling you. And I realized in my career as I got older, man, I'll never want to sit in front of that other TV. I don't even kick it with those people. So now when you take those dynamics and you apply it to a locker room, what do? You got the new flashy quarterback who just showed up from the transfer portal, dual threat quarterback, and you got the other guy who's kind of older, was our starting quarterback last year, didn't impress anyone. So when you walk into the locker room, who do you gravitate towards? Who do you polarize to? It's just polarization. It's just the way it is, man. It's why when you go to a street fair, certain tents are more popular than others. I'll tell you which ones are more popular than others. The ones playing good music. You just want to stand near good music. I can't stand next to a dude playing a banjo, bro. I can't. But if I'm walking and I just hear a little bit of Usher, I'm at that booth, man. What's this guy selling? He's got the Usher playing. I'm like, yo, this guy got good taste in music. He might have good taste in whatever he's selling. That's the way that locker room's split right now. And that's what I'm saying. That's how I feel about it. True freshman to make biggest impact in the ACC. Real simple. He doesn't even touch the ball. Peter Woods. Defensive lineman at Clemson. I think he's the best. I think he's one of the best true freshmen in America. Him, Caleb Downs, and then a slew of other offensive players, obviously. But defensively, Peter Woods, Caleb Downs for sure. Seth says, shout out to the man, Morant's Rants. If you know, you know. Seth, shout out to my twin brother. I have an identical twin brother. His name is Morant's Rants. He talks the stock market, GameStop, financial markets, whatever he talks. He does that on TikTok and YouTube. Give him a shout. Give him a follow. Everybody keeps writing me going, Rico, is this AI? Is that really you? Did you shave for that side of the video? And then come like, bro, what are you guys talking about? It's my twin brother. We don't even look alike. That dude looks 10 years older than me, sucked out in the face. He looks stressed. Looks like he's been thinking about money forever. Jalen Watkins, should the Eagles trade him? And if so, do you think he's going to have a good year? You know, guys, I get asked a lot of questions. And oftentimes they're genuine. I don't think this question is genuine. Is this somebody trying to stump me? Jalen Watkins? Somebody Google search this. I don't think Jalen Watkins plays for the Eagles. I don't think he's in the NFL. If he is, let me know. Jalen Watkins was a draft pick for the Eagles. He played it for a while, but I think last I saw him, he was on the Chargers 2 years ago. What are we doing? You just trying to stump me? Stump me with some bullshit so I come in here and go, yeah, man, I think they should trade him. Just, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'll have a good year. Just wing it like that. You hope I miss? You guys, don't come in here with that shit. Don't come in here with that. Jalen Watkins, I don't even know what Jalen Watkins, I do know one. Played in Missouri, drafted in 2014. This guy wrote Jalen Watkins, bro. That's a weird question, bro. Seth says, how does a potential FSU win against LSU help the ACC as a whole moving forward? Well, obviously, it gives them credibility as a conference. Now, they won last year, and Kirby Smart didn't give a shit. If you guys didn't know, they won last year, and Kirby Smart still put Florida State at 18 in his final poll. and LSU at 12. Even though Florida State beat them head-to-head and they had the same record. They had the same record. Florida State beat LSU head-to-head, and he put them back 7 spots. Absolute horseshit. Worst thing I ever seen, and nobody cares. He tried to wreck FSU not to be a top 10 team for the whole offseason. That's what that is about. You rank them that low, then they don't have to get ranked. And everybody goes, well, Rico, he's too busy. He didn't even do that poll. Somebody else did the poll. And then when I tell you guys, oh, man, I don't like the coaches poll. Yeah, Rico, like you know more than the coaches. Yeah, I thought you guys just told me the coaches don't do the poll. And yes, I do. I do know more than these coaches. Let me explain. These coaches are biased. These coaches ain't telling the truth. That when they do their polls, they're loyal to their best friends, their former colleagues, their coaching tree, their conference, their opponents. They want everybody ranked. They ain't telling the truth about shit. I'll let you know. I was watching my guy, Jason Brown, on Saturday, and was my first ever interview. Do you think he has the talent to make an NFL 53-man roster next year? AJ interviews Jason Brown, starting quarterback at Jackson State. Jason Brown, former Virginia Tech / South Carolina quarterback. He's transferred twice, 3 times. I like Jason Brown a lot. Do I think he's an NFL caliber? I'd have to see him all season. I don't make that assessment after one game. I'm not ESPN. I'm not a mock draft. You got to play the whole season. I evaluate everybody after the season. He played great, though. He does have a superior team. Ryan Ferron says, you could have answered this already, but for the name Rico Knows, does it refer to the first name or the last name or more equal because you are Rico Rico? So Ryan's making a joke. My name is Rico Rico, the same first and last name. It doesn't matter, bruh. I just know. Rico just knows. That's all there is to it. I don't like to speak in the third person, but it doesn't matter which name it is. All right, you just call me Top. That's how we get down. Jake says, what are your thoughts on Brady Cook, quarterback from Missouri? Please come back on Thursday when I'm talking SEC. Jake, I appreciate the question, but it's not ACC related. Shout out to you. If you're curious about Brady Cook, though, I want to tell you that I've done many videos on Brady Cook. Do a search on TikTok for hashtag Missouri, do a space, and do hashtag Rico Knows. If you're ever curious about any team, anything, any topic, do a search on TikTok for hashtag Rico Knows, and then do a hashtag whatever the topic is. So in this case, you want to know about Missouri, put in Missouri, and see what comes up. Every single video I've ever made on Missouri will pop up. And I've talked about Brady Cook many times. By the way, I'm very positive towards Brady Cook. Nestor Leon says, thoughts on San Jose State's Cordero as a draft prospect? I'll talk about him only because he played this weekend. I will not give any draft prospect. I don't talk about draft prospects, not until the end of the season. They got to play all year. I've always liked Cordero. I think he's a good player. He's a gamer. He's going to show up and do some shit. Let him go. He's very developed. He's been around a while. Very mature. Corey Flores says, what's good, Rico? Always spreading positivity. Thank you very much. Peter Strokes says, yo, Rico. Yo, yo, yo. Hey, I removed some messages because people kept spamming shit. Love Sosa says, Rico, I got the 9th pick in my PPR Fantasy Football League. What should I think about picking? Well, you should think about picking Travis Kelce or the best wide receiver on the board. That's what you should do. Peter Stokes also asked thoughts on BC this year. I think they fired their coach, and I think they have a rough year. They're not going to win 7 games, so they're going to be in trouble. Carps says, how are we doing today, Rico? I'm doing pretty good. Not bad. Day flew by. Love Sosa says, ACC only, my bad. Do you think Boston College's offense will struggle big time without a good quarterback wide receiver duo like Jerkovic and Zay Flowers? So it wasn't a good duo last year. Jerkovic was a bad quarterback. Zay Flowers is a good wide receiver and did the best he could with Yak. I think they struggle more, yes. David and AZ says, hey, Rico, good afternoon. Good afternoon, guys. Would ACC, shout out to Steve, would the ACC consider just adding new schools for football only? I don't know. I don't know that. I haven't looked into that. I can't answer that intelligently. TDC says, what up, Rico? Rico from the Cyber Center. All right, man. Haven't been to any Cyber Center in a while. Thank you very much. Landon Caldwell. Bro, I'm a Kentucky fan. So excited for this upcoming football season. Thoughts on Devin Leary? Devin Leary's not a – come back Thursday. Come back Thursday. If you're curious about Devin Leary, though, and you're curious about Kentucky, go to TikTok, search hashtag Rico Knows, space, and then do another hashtag in the search bar. Don't hit search yet. You got to put in 2 hashtags up there. And the other hashtag, put in Kentucky. See what comes up. There's a ton of videos about Devin Leary. I just made one a couple weeks ago because he's my top 50 transfer portal players. When you guys watch videos on TikTok, you got to use the playlist. You got to use the playlist. They're above the videos. You cannot just be watching my videos on your For You page. You're missing 90% of my videos if you do that. Trust me. Go to the homepage. Go to the very top. There's all these different playlists. Pick one and start watching the videos. I have one called Transfer Portal Top 50, and you will find Devin Leary on there. Evan Kramer says, do you think the ACC would ever start picking up the better Sunbelt teams, Troy, Coastal, AP, South Alabama, if Stanford, Cal, and SMU fall through? No, I don't think that they would want to split those profits. Not right now, no. I think they would wait for departures first. If they had to go pick up the top Sunbelt teams, they're going to wait for departures. Any thoughts on Austin Watkins Jr.? No real thoughts. No real thoughts, Jaden. I got nothing. Tanking. Oh, are we talking about the Cardinals? The Cardinals are tanking, right? I want to tell you guys. I'm sorry. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. My goodness. My bad. Yeah. Ferrero, I wanted to double check. You were just asking about him in general or what? Like, is he getting traded? Let me know. Because he got traded or he came in. I got it. Good luck. Tanking, yeah, they're training. Thoughts on Rashad Bateman after his injury? Is he healthy now? I know he was mad at the strength and conditioning coach, and the NFL Players Association blamed the strength and conditioning coach for his injuries. I hope he's healthy. I've always liked Rashad Bateman as a player. Always thought he was cool, but, be better. Stop being brittle. Josh Dobbs can learn the playbook fast. I think he's a 4.0 GPA in aerospace engineering. Still tough to do, but I think he can do it if he works hard enough, but we will see. Okay, Evan Kramer. We'll see. You learn something new every day. I didn't know he was in aerospace engineering. I knew he was intellectual, but I didn't know he was a 4.0 or aerospace engineering. Jack Wagner says, Rico, what you think of the Buckeyes? I think that they will be talked about on tomorrow. I do Big Ten tomorrow. Thoughts on Roscoe Johnson? No real thoughts. Josh Dobbs bringing back that 2016 Magic. Shout out to him. Rico, do you keep up with Alabama football since you make vids on Rush Probes? You're talking about Alabama high school football? I just know the teams, the scores. I don't watch the games until the playoffs, but I know who they are. Yo, Rico, a couple months ago, I sent you a request to evaluate David Busey. I'm pumped to see what you think. Well, you need to be patient. There's a long line. I want to tell you right now there's approximately 766 people waiting. 766 people waiting. I might get to 3 of them today. I'm trying to do as many as I can, but the requests just keep coming in. They're in chronological order. Don't message me about it, or else it'll move your message to the back of the line. So when you send me a message in my inbox, as I get a new message, your initial message stays at the bottom, and they keep going. And when I go to make a video and I do a high school film review, I start at the bottom of the stack. I go to the bottom. But if you send me a message and you're like, hey, Rico, just checking, are you almost to my video? That takes that message, gives it a new date stamp, and throws it to the back of the line. So you were so close to the bottom, and you didn't get, and I didn't make a video for you. It's happened to many kids. There's kids right now. So my messages are, I'm currently doing videos requests from June. So if you did a film request review, it's from June. It's not right now. So that's how that goes. But thanks for sending out a message, and I'll get to it when I can. Nestor Leon says, does Cal and Stanford join the ACC or the Mountain West? I try not to guess at stuff like this. I'll just report it after it happens. The answer is yes, right? The answer is yes. Thoughts on Texas this year? That's going to be a discussion for Wednesday. I think Stanford joins the ACC. Thoughts? I hope they do. I hope they find a home and they find a team that wants to be with them. That's my thoughts. I hope they find a team that a conference that wants them. You got Colorado or TCU. That'll be talked about on Friday. If you're asking that question, that tells me you don't watch the content. Corey Flores, Rico, I'm going to beat you on the college pick'ems guaranteed. I hope you do. I hope everybody does. Colin Potter says, what do you think the chances are of Michigan winning the Natty? Well, there's about 65 teams playing for the Natty. Some lose every single week. I think they have decent chances, man. They got to win their conference, and then we'll see what happens from there. That's just how that goes. Bean Banks says ASU paying $4.4 million left on old coach's contract instead of firing for cause. Just seen a video about it. Something weird's going on. So, nothing weird's going on. They don't want to get sued and have to go to court. It'll be that's it's ridiculous. When people sign contracts, you got to pay it out, or you're going to go to court for litigation. That's going to cost money. They're going to lose a bowl game either way. That costs money. There's still punishment involved. All this is just, it is what it is. They're making the right decision for themselves and their university. Don't be mad about it. There's nothing else going on. B. Woot says, do you think JMU can compete against some mid-ACC teams? Yeah, every group of 5 team can compete with some mid teams in the Power 5. They're good. They're fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Commanders versus Cards, Week 1 prediction. I don't have a clue, dude. I don't try to guess at NFL games. I stay away from NFL predictions. Mail says, are there any players that got cut that you thought was going to get a roster spot? Oh, yeah, Mails. There's always players. And it's not necessarily that I thought we're going to get a roster spot. It's I would give them a roster spot. You see the difference? It's not whether or not I thought it. I would, if I was the GM, I would have given them a roster spot over someone else. I really don't like the way the NFL treats rookies and new players on the roster. I don't like how they give other players so many chances when they don't deserve them. There's a lot of things wrong inherently with the NFL. This is why I stay away from it. I'm doing it for content. I get it. But I don't sit here and try to guess at what the NFL teams are doing. So I would never try to guess what players are going to make the roster and not make it. I did do an entire video after the draft on the undrafted free agents that I care about. Once again, not predicting they make the team. I'm very careful what I say. These are my favorite players. This is who I care about. 2 different, very subjective terms. These are my favorite players. This is who I care about. That's it. I don't try to guess what's going to happen. Cade Streak says, what do you think about Nebraska football this year? I will be discussing Nebraska tomorrow for the Big Ten. Jay Brown, are you serious? What do you mean? What did Jay Brown say? Oh, you got Colorado TCU. Yeah. Are you serious? Do you not watch the content? That's crazy. Luis Lucio says, what do you think about UTSA's program? I'll be talking about UTSA on Sunday. That's when I talk about Group of 5. If you're curious what I think about UTSA as a program, search on TikTok, #UTSA, #Rico Knows. You'll see it. I see UMass had a good game. They did. Do you think Florida State football team will make it to the college football playoffs? They got to win their conference first, so that's how that goes. I don't guess who's going to make the playoffs, guys. I'm not that guy. Eli Prod says, Rico, do you think we'll win the Bengals quarterback spot? Who will win the Bengals quarterback spot? Quarterback 2 spot? Jake Browning or Trevor Siemian? Ugh. If I had to pick between those two, I'm taking Siemian. But, anybody, it doesn't look good either way. Jay Brown says, at Dre, stop at me. He's asking you a serious question. Kobe Price says, do you think Jackson Dart could be a dark horse to sneak in the top 10? Who the hell is keeping top 10 picks, bro? Who's keeping top 10 track? Who's keeping track of top 10 voting in the Heisman? Who's doing that shit? Kobe Price, that's not an ACC question. Justin Collector says, start, bench, cut. Between these 3, who am I going to start, bench, or cut? So I'm going to start Drake May, bench Jordan Travis, cut Cade Klubnik in that regard. Ryan Hazelwood says, you got Colorado or TCU. Once again, talking about it on Friday. Chances are I'll talk about it on Wednesday because I'm talking about the Big 12 on Wednesday. Marcus DeGulio says, I hope I'm saying your name right, bro. I'm not good with names. I don't mean to make fun of it or say anything inappropriate. He says SC or UNC is in Charlotte. SC versus UNC is in Charlotte. Okay, it's not in Columbia. Cool. Thank you for the correction. I apologize. Kamani Ross says he only talking about ACC teams only. Exactly. Today's ACC. Thank you guys for correcting people. Excited for the Tigers this year. Clemson are the Tigers. Correct. Sounds good. Let's go. Pardon me. Where's everybody at? Chat just jumped on me, by the way. Sorry. Kelly couldn't predict her own husband's football future. Why do people try taking things from her podcast? Yeah, I don't know. Kelly, I don't understand that. Goodness gracious says dumb pick. Don't know what that means. I'm here. What up, Awesome Aramis? Thanks for being here. Goodness gracious says Jaden Daniels for the Heisman. Okay. Can't win the Heisman if your team isn't at least 11-1. Kobe Price says the FSU-LSU game could go either way. No surprise if FSU wins. No surprise if LSU wins. Correct. They're both great teams. Lucio says, what do you think? Don't repeat your questions, please. I'm going to answer that on Sunday. Go to TikTok and watch the videos. I've made a dozen videos about UTSA. Mason Harper says, have you watched anyone from Mount Carmel High School in Chicago? Don McNabb went there. Not recently. No. Evan Do Too Much says, what up, Rico? After this preseason showcases from the incoming rookie quarterbacks, does any of your rankings change from the initial top rookie quarterbacks list? No, not necessarily, Evan. I don't try to go back and change rankings. Players are going to develop differently. They're going to get different opportunities. Certain players are going to get injured. Certain players will be sat behind a starter. You have no control over that kind of shit. So why would you go back and try to re-rank them based on circumstance? No, you rank them in the moment. It's a snapshot of what you thought of that individual at that time. And if they pan out and they don't pan out, that you have no control over that. Remember, when I make my picks, once again, I never try to predict their NFL success. You have no way of knowing what team they're going to get drafted by. You have no way of knowing what situation they're going to go into, if the team's going to believe in them or not. Like, you just don't know any of these variables. Or is their head coach going to get fired, and then they have to learn a new offensive scheme from a different guy? Like, I don't get into none of that shit. I just look at players and go, hey, this is my favorite guy. Hey, I like this guy. He's fun to watch. He's a Rico Knows guy. He's an underdog. I'm cool with him. Notice, all my picks are underdogs. I don't ever pick I don't go with consensus number. I don't even know what that means. Consensus number one. It ain't me. Who did you poll? I wasn't a part of that metric. That's how I get down. Let's go. Have you watched anyone? Nope. Tyler says, what's up, Rico? Thoughts on David Stone committing to Oklahoma? Do you think this will flip Nawarli or cause anyone to head over to Norman? Love the channel. So, yeah, David Stone, stud player, committing to Oklahoma. Congratulations. I don't believe any commitments. Everybody changed their mind before National Letter of Intent Day. We'll see some kids change their mind in November and December. And even then, if you guys don't know the new rules, players are going to sign. Players are going to go to school, enroll in the winter, and they're going to do spring ball and then hit the transfer portal with no ramifications. We're talking about incoming freshmen. The new NCAA rule is if you change your mind after one semester, you can play immediately with no issue. And this is to help guys like Michael Daugherty, who went to LSU and left after 3 weeks. This is to help the kid who left Mississippi State and went to Georgia Tech after spring ball. He actually was told to leave after exit meetings. There's about 4 kids who left school after less than 3 months there. Coming out of high school. We're not talking about transfer portal kids. We're talking about coming out of high school. You sign with that school. You're allowed to change your mind after one semester. So all these kids committed to other places doesn't even fucking matter. Doesn't even matter. They're going to get there, go, hey, wait, I'm not in the too deep. I'm out of here. And they're going to leave. Hey, wait, I'm not getting my money. All right, it's crazy. Cameron Franklin. No thoughts on Franklin. Good player. Braden Wims. That's my thoughts. Great player. Jason Parkson says, speaking of over-evaluating talent, is there one player you can think of that has done the exact thing, over-evaluation of his talent? Oh, yeah. Jason, there's so many. There's so many players. They're all in the Ole Miss quarterback room right now. Right? There's so many players that hit the transfer portal. Daniel Richardson's one right now at FAU. He transferred from Central Michigan to FAU, thought he was going to go down there and be the starting quarterback, and he's backing up He's not starting. Jacob Conover at Arizona State, not starting. Just transferred in. Drew Pine, just transferred, not starting. There's players, Ben Finley, left NC State, went to Cal, not starting. Players are transferring all over the place, and they're not starting. They're not beating people out. I just saw a kid leave. Who was it? Zy McDonald. Went from Louisiana, the Raging Cajun, third-string quarterback. Transfers to Jackson State, not starting. Just you're misunderstanding where you fit in the totem pole of players. It's happening everywhere. They're transferring in, and they're not starting. No matter how good you think they are, they're not beating them out. Kyron Drones did it. Logan Smothers did it. He's at Jacksonville State right now. He's not starting. He just left Nebraska. I could go on and on and on. Rank everyone in Virginia Tech's quarterback room. No thanks, Peter Stokes. Mason Harbor says, Rico never misses even. I've doubted him sometimes, and I have to admit it when I'm wrong. Yeah, it's not that I never miss, because I definitely miss. But once you hit at a specific, at a tendency, or you constantly get things right, what do we do at that point? Like, do we stop saying, oh, I think Rico's lying, I think he's wrong? There's no way I'm wrong. And the reason I'm careful about what I predict, I want to tell you guys, I have sources. I have players and coaches reach out to me all the time. Like, let me tell you guys this. I had a rumor in my inbox yesterday, and the rumor was Dylan Raiola, quarterback at Buford, number one quarterback in the country, going to Georgia, quit the Buford football team after beating Mallard Creek 10-7. He quit the team. Now, my dog is humping my arm while I talk to you guys, just so you know. They're saying he quit the team. It's a bullshit rumor. But how do I get to the bottom of it? So I reach out to Buford, and I know players on the team. I know players on the Buford football team. I reach out to the kids and say, hey, man, is this true? They're like, nah, Mr. Rico, that's not true. I'm like, all right. So out of all the people spreading this rumor, I'm the only one who has the truth. So now I can predict and be like, nah, I'm going to make a prediction. He'll be starting next week. Well, now apply that scenario to so many other things in the offseason. I get so many players reach out to me directly, coaches reaching out to me directly and going, hey, Rico, that's not true. Let me tell you what's the truth. Let me tell you what really went down. I get that all the time. There's people that want to give you the juice. They want to give you the truth. I get it all day long. And that in itself enables me to be right in my predictions or my assessment of situations, is I have an insider helping me. It's not just me, guys. It's a collection. It's a community of people wanting to get their voice out. This is the platform. We can tell the truth here, and we can get it to the masses. Shout out to TikTok and YouTube. Right now, we're at equal number of viewers. We're at 70 on each one. That's 140. We'll take it. Please hit the like button before you get in here and watching us on YouTube. Please hit the like button. We need the likes, and we can go from there. All right. Sean B says, who do you feel you've been wrong in so far this year? Sean B, two guys. Number one is Sylvester, or is it Tyron? Tyron Stevenson? Stevenson, the corner, coming out of Miami, former Georgia corner, went to Miami, and he looks great this preseason. And I said I wasn't very high on him. So that's one. I apologize. My dog is chewing on a ball, and it's going to make those noises. Please stop, sweetie. So Stevenson I got wrong. I'll say. I think I got him wrong. And obviously Tyson Bagent. Tyson Bagent with Chicago. Looks like he's the second-string quarterback, or about, going to be. And I didn't think he was going to stick to a roster. And he did. So those are two guys that I missed on this year. Now, is there 25 guys that I missed on? I don't think so. So I'm pretty sure I'm over 90%, but I missed on two guys. It happens. Corey Flores, I'm just happy football's back, man. There you go. Mason Harper says, mark my words, Chris Jones will be traded to the Bears by the end of this week. Mason Harper, make a video about it so we see those words forever. They're in here. I read them out loud. Unorthodox. Nebraska is a minus 8.5 favorite over Colorado week 2. How? We'll be discussing that on another day. Today is ACC only. Thank you. Dwayne McBride or Ngannou. Who will the Vikings keep? Fozzie outdoors. Seems like Keene was too valuable on special teams to cut. Dwayne McBride has no ability to catch passes. And he has no ability to play special teams. And he has a fumbling concern. I don't know if Dwayne McBride makes the roster. I don't know. Sean B says, Marty Mappau is your biggest hit. Crazy knowledge in that takeover. So if you guys didn't know, well outside of the realm of even plausible, I was watching film on FCS games, and I was watching film for the quarterback out of UIW last year. What's his name? You guys know. The little fast dude. Transfer from LSU, Missouri, and everywhere else. His name will come to me. I have so many names in my head. It's crazy. But I was watching film, and I saw Sacramento State. Remember, I don't watch a lot of FCS film. I watch FBS games. But FCS film, I'm watching it. And all of a sudden, Sacramento State comes on the screen, and I'm like, hold up. Who's this? And they had a running back. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch the running back. And he's now at Arizona State, right? I'm like, okay. Let me keep looking. Who's this guy on defense everywhere? And I stopped, and I said, that's Marty Mappau. And I really dug into Marty Mappau. And I instantly – and what's crazy is I was watching his tape about an hour after I watched J.L. Skinner. Now, J.L. Skinner got hurt. He's from Boise State, 6'4", safety. J.L. Skinner got hurt in the at the combine or while working out for the combine, so he dropped in the draft. But J.L. Skinner was one of the top safety prospects. So everybody kept talking about J.L. Skinner this, J.L. Skinner that. And when I watched the tape, I'm like, no, his hips look stiff. He's not making plays right. I just looked at it, and I was not impressed with J.L. Skinner. I'm like, everybody's saying this guy's an NFL dude. I'm like, how? So I kind of just had a negative video on J.L. Skinner. I literally made it. I tried to stay positive, but I was like, I don't know. This guy looks like But then I started to watch Marty Mappau tape, and I went, oh, this is Troy Polamalu. This guy's amazing. This is the best safety in the draft. And what do you know? Nobody had ever heard his name. Nobody ever talked about this kid. Nobody said anything. Patriots take him in the third round. That's a hit. And he's a stud. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. I think that dude's real, as long as he doesn't get hurt. Fozzie Outdoor says, Ivan Pace was a great pickup for the Vikings and a great take by Rico. He knows. Thank you very much, Fozzie. Yeah, I told you guys Ivan Pace Jr. I talked about him before the rest of the world did. I think he was one of my very first hidden gems in the transfer portal. One of my very first videos. If you go to NFL Draft playlist and you scroll to find the first video I ever made in there, he's got to be in the first 5 videos I made. Ivan Pace Jr., I was all over it. I'm like, wow, this guy's amazing. What are they doing? His motor's outrageous. Joey Graham says, how legit is Drew Allar? Come ask me tomorrow when I talk about the Big Ten. Thoughts on Penn State? Once again, tomorrow. What is your prediction for Clemson's schedule this year? PJ Worst? Let's go. It's an ACC show. Let's go find out. So, they're at Duke. I see them winning that game. I see them beating Charleston. They're going to beat FAU. That game against Florida State, it all depends on how Florida State's doing. But I feel like Florida State's more senior laden, and Clemson's really young. So give me Florida State to win that game. So I've got they'll be 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. This is a difficult game against Miami. It really is, because it's at Miami, and Miami's strength is their secondary. So you won't be able to throw against them. Are you going to ride Shipley to win that game? I don't know. You're going to ride your defense in Shipley. I still think they get it done, though. So only one loss so far. Notre Dame, I think they win that game. I could see them realistically having 1 to 2 losses max. But at the same time, they could have 3 or 4 losses. Who knows? Clemson going 10-2. How you like it? 10-2. That's realistic. 10-2. Clemson's going 10-2. Put me on the spot. That's what I got to say. Unfortunately. A lot of their hard games are on the road. South Carolina at the end of the season, although it's not much of a road game there. And Miami, that looks scary to me. But the Duke game is going to tell us everything we know about this team. Next week, we can talk. After we see all these teams play for 1 week, we can make a better assessment, right? Remember that. You got to see what they actually look like this season. We'll see. Must have been the Colorado Rockies. I'm not sure what that's about. Does Gerald Jackson have any eligibility left? The defensive lineman? Yeah, he's not going to be able to play this year, so he has to sit out the year. Then he'll be able to play for 1 year. Come on, give us that SEC chant. That's Thursday. While Boston College isn't very good, what up, Paul Keenan? I think Christian Mahogany is a bright spot on the offensive line. Someone to look out for. Definitely, I've watched him. He's not bad. Elliott Ford, who wins in an Oklahoma drill between you and your brother? We've actually done these before. We used to play football together. I was always a very vicious hitter and a very athletic person. Nowadays, it's not even close. I'm a monster. But back in the day, I was always bigger and stronger than my brother. He was a step faster, but definitely never equivalent to me in any way physically, like hitting-wise or anything like that. David in Arizona says, Rico, do you think the ACC will get Stanford and Cal? I hope Stanford and Cal go where they're wanted. That's all I can say about that. We'll see. When's SEC Day? SEC Day is Thursday. I announced all this on my TikTok on the homepage. Conley Turley says, I'll be posting it on YouTube later today. Conley Turley says, you got them over FSU. LSU over FSU? I've changed my mind 3 times on that game while we've been talking. Pop F says, Louisville versus Georgia Tech, prediction from Friday. Yeah, I already gave it. Rewind the show. Victor Hall says, you are the best in the business. Thank you. You may be Spanish and Mexican, but you also have some brother in you. Recheck that DNA. My DNA says 7%. I'm 7% African. Straight up. That's what my DNA says, West African to be specific. I got 0 Anglo-Saxon. I got 0 white in me. I'm predominantly Spanish and Mexican. I'm what they call indigenous American. I'm like Spanish. I think it's 60% indigenous American, 33%, and 7% African. I'm blacker than Aaron Brown. I'm letting you know right now. I got more street cred too. That's real talk. Goodness gracious. Rico picked FSU to beat LSU 2 years in a row. Yeah. Nick Giltner says, what are your thoughts on the UNR's quarterback room? UNR. University of Nevada, Reno? Is that what you're saying? That's a discussion for Sunday. Sunday. Steve Talbert's Rico talking about prison TV culture now. Hey, I'm just letting you know what it is. It is what it is. Noah says, who were some of the players that in recent years fell, but you liked that ended up being right about? What do you mean by fell? Fell in the draft? Bruh. Great players fall in the draft all the time. NFL teams don't know what the hell they're doing. There's a ton of them. I was right about all of them. I was right about Brock Purdy. I was right about all of them. I like players with high production. So if you ever saw a late draft pick with a ton of college production, I was touting that dude. I was saying that guy's great. That's what I care about. If you have low production in college, I don't think you'll be dominant in the NFL. That's my assessment. Like, if you're not better than the guys in front of you right now, you're not going to be better than them on Sunday. Stop it. This whole recipe of getting guys with quote-unquote potential and then they'll be good, yeah, you can't even name 5 guys that have ever done that at any position. Like, name a running back who couldn't run the ball in college and then all of a sudden started just fucking cutting it up in the NFL. Give me that guy. Give me that 1,000-yard rusher who couldn't do shit. You got about 4 or 5 in the history of the NFL. Wide receivers. Give me a guy who couldn't catch and run routes and do anything in college. Give me that guy. And then tell me when he became great. It's all BS, guys. They're trying to do it with quarterbacks. Shout out to Anthony Richardson. Who are some of the players that in recent years fell? Yeah. Joey Graham says, favorite told you so player. Right now it's Tank Dell. Right now it's Tank Dell all day. Aiden O'Connell's right there too. I'm loving it. I don't even have to go back, guys. I don't have to go back. I'm right here in the moment. Favorite told you so player. I'm just letting you know. I've been telling you guys all kinds of shit. Jake Stoker says, do you think there's any truth to Penn State fans saying Nick Singleton is better than Blake Corum? Penn State fans saying their running back is better than another running back? Yeah, it's true that they're going to say that. That's the end of that conversation. It's just fans being fans. I think you meant Quez Watkins. Oh, dude. You can't write the wrong name. Y'all look exactly alike. No, we don't. That dude's got 2 dimples. I got 1. That dude sucked in his face. That dude ain't it, bro. Okay, Quez Watkins. Cool. Who's your favorite Told You So player? Somewhere you were right about and everyone disagreed. Joey Graham. I don't think everyone ever disagrees with me, but NFL teams do. Some talking faces do, right? There's always some pimple-faced nerd on the internet disagreeing with me. There's a kid today. Made a video today. Got hair longer than my daughter's. Sitting there talking to me and trying to be, I don't really like the way he says this. I think he's negative. I don't, he's praying on the, dude, shut up. But, man, I'll check you in the hallway, bro. I'm letting you know right now. Missouri predictions. Come back on Thursday. Sean Underwood, do you think Jalen Daniels can be as successful in the NFL? That's a day for Wednesday. Big 12 is Wednesday, guys. Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson? That's not a conversation for the ACC. Sorry, guys. Do you know Micah Hudson? He's a top 24 recruit. Do you think he'll be going to be good? Porter Hodges. Do a search on TikTok for hashtag Rico Knows, hashtag Texas Tech. Do that search. And then watch all the videos. I already made a video about this. Favorite quarterback in the ACC? Let me see, Joey Graham. Let me see. Favorite quarterback in the ACC? My favorite quarterback in the ACC is Riley Leonard. He's my favorite. Riley Leonard, Drake May, Jordan Travis, Cade Klubnik. Jack Plummer, Louisville. Those are my 5 favorite quarterbacks in the ACC. LMAO, don't know what I said that made you laugh. Robert Thompson says, hey, Rico, any chance for Indiana to make a bowl game this year? We can talk about that on Big Ten. Today is ACC. Big Ten is tomorrow. Mark Preston says, you think Clemson gets into the college football playoff this season? I have no clue, Mark Preston. You can win your conference and not get in, so I don't try to guess at that. I don't even bother. There's no point. Win your conference, and I think Clemson can win the ACC. Will they? Don't know. And winning the ACC doesn't get you into the playoffs because it all depends on how the other guys do. Joseph Witt says, do the Hokies improve? I think they improve. Don't know if they improve in wins, but they're definitely going to improve on the field. Yeah, I think the Hokies improve. There's nowhere else for them to go. They were terrible last year. Thoughts on Michael Penix Jr.? Ask me on Friday. Jake Cape says, what's your take on high schools that run old school offenses like the wing T, single wing, etc.? My take is they probably have an old coach. Like when I went to this ghetto-ass high school when I was a freshman and a sophomore. I went to this school. It was called Indio High School. Actually, Coach Snyder used to coach there. And Indio High School is really, really poverty-stricken high school. Now, I don't know how it is today. I just remember when I went there, it was really bad. And we went undefeated. We played our games. We were playing on JV and freshman teams, right, initially. And then we were so good that we transferred to the fancy high school. Fancy high school ran a pro-style offense. We had 20 guys going to college. Like, everybody was great. We were just an amazing team. Fit right in. But at the other high school, at that ghetto high school I was at initially, we had this old coach. I don't even know if he's alive today. But he taught the wing T. And he knew the wing T inside and out, and that was the only offense we ran. You know how upset I was? I was a wide receiver. And this dude's asking me to just do crackback blocks and just go out there and block this guy and do this. I played wide receiver one whole season, and I played both ways. So I was wide receiver in the corner. And I played at wide receiver, and I never, one season, I think my sophomore, he didn't throw me a pass. I was furious. I didn't catch a pass. I said, dude, when I got to my new school, I got to the fancy school, coach said, hey, we only play one side of the ball here. I said, cool, man, I'm a corner. Cool, I'm a safety. Don't worry about it. I'm going to play DB. I played corner my junior year, and then I moved to free safety my senior year. But he was like, I can't stand these old dudes sitting there with this archaic way of doing things. Now, is it the equalizer in college? It sure is. But in high school, I think it's so problematic because it limits where your players are going to get their offers and their opportunities. You want a fun fact? They ran a version of the wing tee at Helix High School when Reggie Bush played there. Yep. They ran a version of the wing tee. His quarterback was Alex Smith. So Alex Smith was running the wing tee off it, and he didn't throw a lot of passes. He just handed off to Reggie Bush a lot. He ran some too. He was actually pretty athletic. But yeah, wing tee, wishbone, the flying wing, jet sweeps and all this shit. Like all that is just, it limits the players so much to get opportunities at the next level. But you can win games if that's what you do. It is what it is. When is your fantasy draft? I think my fantasy draft is next week. I'd have to check my phone. I think it's next week. Next Saturday or Sunday. Andy says, I'm going to be live streaming my fantasy draft, by the way. I'm going to live stream it with you guys. I'm going to be on YouTube live streaming it. Have you talked about the St. Louis game from last week? If so, what do you think about the kid who had 5 interceptions against St. Louis? I haven't seen the game. I don't know anything about it. I don't watch a lot of Hawaii high school football. You're going to have to talk to me. Kahuka? Andy, send me a link. Send me something, bro. I don't know anything about it. Caleb Franklin says, thoughts on UVA versus Tennessee game coming this week. I already talked about all the games. Go back to the beginning of the podcast. Put it on 1.25 speed, 1.5 speed, and you'll catch back up with us. How much of an impact do you think Keon Coleman will make for Florida State? As an MSU alum, it sucked to see him transfer, but he's still very raw route runner, so wonder what your thoughts of him. So my thoughts are Keon Coleman, star wide receiver, leaving Michigan State, going to Florida State. My thoughts are he's a stud, but they already had good wide receivers. Like, they already had Johnny Wilson. Now they got him. Now they got Coleman. He's huge. He's a great playmaker. But does he increase their win total? I don't know. Like, they were already going to win a lot of games. I don't know if he impacts their win total, but he's a good player. He can do some shit when they need him, especially at the goal line. I think he's a great addition. You want to get him in the transfer portal. Shout out to him. Great get. Good player. That's what I think of him. Gavin the Gamer says, what are your opinions on Sam Laporta? Go and find my NFL draft playlist. Go and find my NFL draft rankings, and you'll find everything about Sam Laporta. Joseph Saylor says, your brother's videos kill me, bro. He been on your ass lately on TikTok. Hey, he's just clout chasing, bro. He just wants more followers. You guys give him a follow. Watch his shit. That's fine. I don't worry about it. I don't watch him. Gavin Jenkins, Florida State will be the biggest letdown this season. Hey, bold take. I like it. Jack McMillan. Hey, Gavin, bold take, and no one's going to remember you said it. Right? So you're allowed to say it. No one's going to remember you said it. So when you're wrong, no one's going to remember. Is Steve Sarkisian a bust? Is he ready for SEC coaching? He has great players, but can he coach under pressure or stick to O-line coaching? Jack McMillan. Steve Sarkisian is a great coach, recruiting his ass off, has one of the top recruiting classes in the country, as an NFL quarterback. What are you talking about? Can Steve Sarkisian help that his best player last year was Bijan Robinson and he mailed it in every single big game? Fumbled in overtime first play? Like, how is that the coach's fault that Robinson fumbles in overtime first play? Or that Xavier Worthy drops passes? Like, there's nothing else this coach can do. He can't play the games for the players. That's not an ACC question, but that upsets me that you would even write that. Thought on Arkansas. Not an ACC team. We're talking about Arkansas on Thursday. Sorry. Kind of ACC related, but do you think the dissolution of conferences could get us closer to a relegation structure or a bowl system and remaining conferences too strong? Yeah, Steve, I think we're still like 20, 30 years away, but I think what we're closer to is sub-leagues, leagues existing outside of the NCAA. I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the top teams cutting. I think as the conferences grow, they're going to shrink. They're going to cut the fat, and they'll get rid of the substandard teams. So you look at like the Big Ten, they're going to cut Rutgers and Indiana. One day they're going to cut all those teams that aren't earning enough money for them, and then it's just going to become an elitist group of teams, and these leagues will just exist among themselves, have their own rules, have their own income. That's what we're leaning towards. If you ask me, that's how I feel. Nathan Vass says Michael Orr update. I don't have anything for you. Brandon Smith says, most impactful true freshman in the ACC. I already answered it. Rewind it and go watch it. Joseph Ellis, Colorado's taking down TCU. Cool. Don't need the point, straight up win. There you go. What up, Rico? What up? Fermented Cabbage. Shout out to Kimchi here. He's saying, what about Denver Broncos? Sorry, hit soon too much. Russell Wilson or Jarrett Stidham for quarterbacks. Stidham looked good Saturday. Russell Wilson's getting a ton of money, man. What are you talking about? Tony Butler says, surely you know coaches do not complete the coaches poll. It's a graduate assistant or somebody. Surely you know, Tony Butler, that coaches do the preseason poll and their final poll. 100%. They can blame somebody else for it, but that's what they're doing. Now, during the season, I'm sure it's somebody else, but the last poll is really important because it impacts recruiting, your final ranking, and the preseason poll pre-postures your teams for ranking, and you're not busy at all when they do the preseason poll. Don't want to hear that shit. It's bullshit when they say somebody else does it. Hey, Rico, how far of a drop-off do you think Wake Forest's offense will have this year without Sam Hartman? Although I don't think Sam Hartman's the issue, I think it's the loss of A.T. Perry. A.T. Perry departing to the NFL is the bigger issue there. I don't even think Sam Hartman's that good. I watched him with Notre Dame. I was not impressed against Navy. Thought he missed a lot of passes. Thought his receivers had huge catch radiuses, so they made him look good. But nothing was too exciting about Sam Hartman. He played a hapless team. Navy is not good. They didn't have great defensive backs. They were not. It was not a mismatch, or it was not a matchup that was conducive to winning for Navy. But I'm not impressed with Sam Hartman. I've watched a lot of tape on him. I'm just kind of over it. I look at Sam Hartman. I think he's a 4th or 5th round quarterback. Really. Yeah. Gimshow says, UTEP quarterback made a costly fumble. Yeah. What do you do, man? You think he will last through the season? Yeah, he's going to last through the season. They don't have anybody else that I know of. One of their better quarterbacks hit the transfer portal and went to, I think he went to Sam Houston. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Gimshow. It was bad. Sean Underwood, what day do you talk about the NFL? All day, every day. It doesn't bother me. You could ask a question. I'm in. Robert Lopez, Dobbs works part-time with NASA in the offseason. Well, I hope he works full-time on the NFL and focuses on his damn playbook. Gimshow says, New Mexico State quarterback is not really that great. Oh, yeah. So let's talk about it. The New Mexico State quarterback, Paiva, he was the starter last year, and he wasn't good. He won the quarterback battle this year. He's still not good. But the only problem is their star transfer was Eli Stowers coming on from Texas A&M. Man, he didn't win the job. And they brought him in the game a couple times to run the ball, but they know he can't throw. I wish they would just let Stowers do his thing and wait for the best. Sorry, it's not an ACC question, but I wanted to touch on it. Rico, you watch these callers call Paul Feinbaum, you'd break the TV. Some of these people are ridiculous. Yeah, Ryan Ray, it's all a stunt, man. Ryan Ray, it's all a stunt. I don't care. I don't want to take calls. I don't want to debate people. I don't want to hear people talk or give them a platform. That's not my style. I didn't watch the debate show this morning with Skip Bayless and them dudes. I don't even know these people. I don't give a shit what they're saying. I'm not here to argue with anybody. Coop says, do you think Anthony Richardson would start over Riley Leonard at Duke? Not a chance in hell. Anthony Richardson can't complete a pass, bro. There are many schools that don't want Anthony Richardson. Eric, Javian Tovian, LSU defensive back. Yeah, he's a good freshman. He's a good freshman. Will J, who's wide receiver number 1, USC, Branch or Singer? Dorian Singer is the number 1 wide receiver, but that's a Pac-12 question. Robert Lopez says, is it more likely that one loss ACC team will make the playoffs or two SEC teams? It is more likely that a one-loss ACC team will make the playoffs. A conference champion, one loss, yeah, they'll make the playoffs before two SEC teams make it 100%. They're going to make it. Trent Barab says, what do you think about Jaden Daniels from LSU? I'll talk about that on Thursday. That's a SEC question. What are your thoughts on Tank Dell? Go watch the content. If you're asking me what are my thoughts on Tank Dell, you don't watch my content. Get away from me. Goodness gracious, Will Campbell, sophomore offensive tackle at LSU, gets the number 7. Don't care. I love Don. Is there anyone who you're surprised that didn't get cut or someone who you're surprised who did? Yeah, I'll probably do a whole show on that, Don. I'll do videos as it happens. It's unfortunate. I'm never surprised. I'm hopeful that players don't get cut. Certain guys that I'm pulling for, I'm never surprised though. And then who didn't get cut and they kept, I don't wish that on anyone. More power to congratulations, right? Louisville's record prediction. If you want to know, you need to go watch my top 25 coaches playlist on YouTube. It's on the Who Is playlist, but on TikTok I have a playlist called Top 25 Coaches. Go watch that and you find Louisville. They're at the top somewhere. On TikTok, guys, there's playlists for everything. Just go to my homepage at the very top above the videos. There's a bunch of playlists. Find one of them. Watch everything in it. It'll answer your question. Do you think Tank Dell becomes a star wide receiver in the NFL? Watch my content. Ryan Ray, I can see Duke beating Clemson week 1. I can too. Trent Barabee says, what's your thoughts on quarterback Jaden Daniels from LSU? Once again, not an ACC question. We don't answer those questions until Thursday. But I can see Duke beating Clemson. That's why I want to watch the game. I'm very interested in Riley Leonard. Now, Clemson has a loaded team, stacked team. I just feel like Duke at home, they've been preparing for Clemson all offseason. This is their Super Bowl. They want to win this game. And I love Duke's culture. I love their culture. But I don't think they have enough talent, but I still love the culture. Yep. Your friends don't know, baby. What up, Tyler Rogers? Yep. Mass Hoodie says, do you think Drake May will be a star in the NFL? Once again, Mass Hoodie, I don't guess at shit like that. I don't understand why people keep asking me these questions. It's you. You keep asking me these questions. You asked me about Tank Dell, now you ask me Drake May. How can you assess someone's going to be a star in the NFL if you haven't seen them play their final season of college football? You don't know where they're getting drafted to. What the hell? What if the Chiefs draft him? How is he going to be a star if he's behind, if he never starts? Clemson makes the playoffs. Okay, there you go. Mark Noel says, favorite performance from World Championships. Favorite performance, girl, Rojas. She won the triple jump on her final jump. That's a pretty big deal. That's a beast move. That's a GOAT move. I liked, there's this kid, this girl, or this dude. No, it's a girl. Somebody won both walking. Yeah, they won the 25 and the 50K walking titles. Go look who won the speed walking titles. It's the same person. She won them both. It was a girl. It's incredible. The pace she kept is insane. I think it's like a 7-minute mile pace from walking. It's ridiculous. Mass Hoodie says, let's go. Tank Dell is my guy. Jason Parkinson, FYI, Jim Harbaugh has more rushing yards and touchdowns than Bo Jackson. Jason, shout out to you for a great stat, but remember this. When you're comparing two things, it is THAN, not EN. So than. You're comparing anything. I have more than this. When you wrote then like that, that means it's going to happen next. You wrote, he has more rushing yards and touchdowns. Then Bo Jackson went to dinner. RJ says, what are your hopes for the Vols this year? That's a Thursday question. RJ says, how do you think the Vols will do? Once again, SEC, Thursdays. Today is ACC. Morant's Rant says, I'm here. Cool. ACC true freshman. ACC true freshman standout. I already talked about it early in the show. Rewind it and go find it. AJ Barger says, Michigan State record prediction. That's for another day. I'm talking Big Ten tomorrow. Wing T sucks because the guards lead you to the play every time. Shandell Pearson, apparently you didn't run the wing T correctly. There are something called counters, and you can trick the defense by pulling guards one way and going the other way. It can happen. Yes, follow the guards. It'll tell you the truth. I'm with you. Count says, Rico and Josh Pate are the best voices in college football. Thank you very much. I don't know Josh Pate that well. I'm aware of who he is, but I don't watch his stuff. But I appreciate you guys saying that. Morant's Rants, Bloomington ain't trying to hear you. If you didn't know, Bloomington ran the wing T. Bloomington from Southern California in the CIF section. Their coach, his name was Markham. He passed away. But Bloomington has the national record, or at least had it in the 90s. They scored an insane amount of points. They averaged like 60, 70 points. They only had 25 guys on the team, and they would just go out there and run the wing T to perfection. It was great to watch. We watched it many times in our youth, and we would travel to go watch those games. Bloomington was special. It was an incredible offense. Shout out to Choo Choo Luna and Cedric Mullins and countless other guys. Stop asking the same question twice, Barger. Count says, haven't heard your opinion on Notre Dame or Arkansas. Well, I'm not going to give them today. This is not the day. User 203 says, you think Ohio State can make a national championship run this year? That's a conversation for tomorrow. They're Big Ten. We're talking ACC today, guys. Mr. Footer, 5-footer says, Rico, will there be any undefeated this year in college football? Sure. I'm not here to guess at shit like that. Sure. Need a video on Arkansas having to survive the trashy turf field in Little Rock with dangerous heat this weekend, risking a lot of injuries. Okay. Ben Jones says, what about Drake May do you like? Is it his ability or potential? Going to the game this next week as a Gamecock fan, trying to see how scared of him I should be. You should be deeply afraid of him, but he doesn't have the same offensive coordinator. Drake May led his team in rushing and passing. You don't even think of Drake May as a dual-threat quarterback, but he led an FBS Power 5 team in rushing. Drake May is him. Now, he doesn't have Josh Downs. He's gone. He has Nate McCollum, wide receiver from Georgia Tech. Told you guys the name will come back to me. He doesn't have Antoine Green. He doesn't have the same targets. But Drake May himself, dude's a baller. Dude's a beast. John Elway status. He can take over games. Feet, legs, all that shit. Get real. NC State record prediction. Oh, boy. Where are they at? NC State record prediction. Let me move over. See what we get. They're going to beat UConn. They're going to lose to Notre Dame, beating VMI. So they got 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss, 4 loss, 5 loss. Give me 6-6. NC State to go 6-6 at best. At best, 6-6. That's what I think of NC State. It could be worse. I think Marshall's scary good, guys. Marshall has a running back nobody's talking about. Let me show you guys something. And I usually wait till Sunday to talk about this. But when you look at the Marshall team, I don't know what any of this shit is. I don't care about this. I want to be able to click on Marshall. Here we go. Statistics. Last year, Marshall had a running back. And he just got cut by the 49ers a couple days ago. But Kalen Laborn here, 300 carries, 1,500 yards. Insane amount of carries. They just fed him the rock all day long. 300 carries, 1,500 yards, 16 touchdowns. Guys, he's the backup. He's not even the real starting running back. Rasheen Ali got hurt. Rasheen Ali down here. This guy got hurt. Rasheen Ali is everything. You don't want to go against Rasheen Ali. Look at 2021. There's Rasheen Ali, a 1,400-yard rusher, 5.6 yards a carry, 23 touchdowns back in 2021. You know how hard it is to get 23 touchdowns in college? 23 touchdowns, Rasheen Ali. He was injured last year. By the way, Grant Wells was their starting quarterback back then, and he's now at Virginia Tech, the starting quarterback. So this year, we're going into 2023. I'm telling you, the guy you got to look out for is Rasheen Ali. Marshall's going to have one of the best running backs in the country. He's back from injury. And everybody thought, oh, they lost Laborn. They're not going to. No, Laborn's a backup, bro. 1,500-yard rusher. Laborn's tape is terrible, by the way. Just letting you know, that gets me nervous. That game against Marshall gets me nervous for NC State. As soon as I saw that, I went, whoa. At NC State, Marshall's going to show up and give them problems. Marshall's got a good team, y'all. We'll see what happens. They got the best running back, one of the very best running backs in America, Rasheen Ali at Marshall. Everybody forgot about him. He scored 23 touchdowns in 2021, and everyone forgot because he was injured last year. Nobody's talking about. Where's he at? Where's the TV talking about him? Best running backs returning this year. They're talking about Blake Corum and this guy and that guy. And I'm like, Rasheen Ali is a 23 touchdown guy. You turn on the tape when you see him, you're gonna go, holy shit, Rico told me about this guy. I can't wait to come back to this clip when I say I am right. When I do an I am right video and tell you guys one of the top running backs in America is Rasheen Ali. Clip that. Six and 6 for NC State, by the way. Cool Peep says, Max Duggan, I thought he would make that roster. Did he just get cut? It's a video. It's a video worth making. Told you guys he wasn't going to make it. I made a video about it. I didn't think he was NFL worthy. User 203 says, what do you think of Lachlan Hewlett? He's a Wake Forest commit 2026. Bro, I don't give a shit about no high school commit. He could change his mind tomorrow. That doesn't move me. Let me know when he enrolls and goes to practice and then transfers. Ryan Jones, what do you think about Kenny Pickett of the Steelers? I think Kenny Pickett's a player. He's got receivers. Let's see what he can do. I like him. You know, I shook his hand. I crushed that thing. It was tiny. I palm a basketball. He's not built for this. I got huge hands. That dude's got little hands. I went check. Hey, and he's got a soft voice. Hi, Mr. Rico. Nice to meet you. That's what he did. Cam says, who do you have winning the FSU versus Clemson the first time around? Could it be like 2013? FSU versus Clemson. FSU versus Clemson the first time around. You're assuming they're going to be in the ACC championship game. Okay. Give me FSU. The first time around, give me FSU. Good luck the second time. Count says, Rico, I know it's hard to know this early, but when was the last time Notre Dame had a better quarterback than Hartman? I'll answer the question because I guess Notre Dame's ACC. When did they have a better quarterback than Hartman? Last year. Last year, bro. Tyler Buckner's better. Drew Pine is better. I don't like Sam Hartman. I don't think he looks good. I watched the tape. He doesn't look good. He played at Wake Forest. The scheme was advantageous for him. He had a star wide receiver that got him all his yards after catch. Made him look good because he throw it in his vicinity. The guy's going to catch it. I don't believe in Sam Hartman, man. And call it what you want. I think Sam Hartman is a 4th to 7th round draft pick at best. He's not a first rounder, not a second rounder, not a third rounder. Garrett Green or Nico. I got no answer here, bro. I owe you an answer on that, Southern Mountain. I owe you an answer. Dylan Patrick, who starts at quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals this year? Fucking Dobbs. Dobbs or Clayton Tune, but it's going to be Dobbs, I guess. Can't put Tune out there. That's crazy. Dobbs came in. They're tanking. Rico, how does Virginia Tech do this year? I think they do fine. I think they do better than they did last year on the field. But as far as record goes, come on, man. Where's Virginia Tech supposed to win games? Now, we'll know after this game with Old Dominion. I got them winning the game. We'll know how good they are after that first game, what they look like. But, look, Purdue's going to beat them, I think. They're going to have trouble with Rutgers. I already told you I like Marshall. Pitt's better than them. Florida State's better than them. They could beat Wake Forest. They could. It's realistic. Just where are they favorite? Maybe 2 games, 3 games. I got them beating Boston College and Virginia. So they're going to end the season, 2 out of 3 wins here. But, man, it just looks steep. It looks crazy. It looks difficult. Looks difficult. Good luck. We'll see what they do. We'll know after this week, though. We'll have a better understanding of who these teams are after this week for sure. You go back over here. Hey, Rico, do you think Desmond Ridder will be any good in the NFL? No. Cam, what's your thoughts on Destin Hill? Made a video on him. Go find it. Do a hashtag Florida State. Do a hashtag Florida State, hashtag Rico Knows, and find the video. Jet Juror's best receivers to pick in Dynasty. I'm not the guy for that. Tyler Rogers, who's the biggest threat to Clemson in the ACC? Florida State. Count says, what sports do you make content on? Watch the content. Dylan Patrick says, are you a fan of Service Academy football teams? Absolutely not. I hate all officers, bro. I'm a senior enlisted member, been in the Army over 20 years. I don't even root for these kids. They're spoiled, snot-nosed kids. I can't stand them. I'm good. No thanks. Count says, return my CJ Stroud jersey and got a Tank Dell one. You should stop buying jerseys. Robert Lopez says, I love your brother's video where he called you a brute. Okay. Jack Baker says, is Florida State going to beat LSU? Very realistic chance. DJ says LMFAO at then versus then. Then Bo Jackson went to dinner. Thank you very much, DJ. I'm glad you caught it. Lumby King says, who you got? UNC or South Carolina? South Carolina's who I got. I'm rolling with it, sticking with it. That's what I got. Ben Jones, you the man, Rico. Thank you very much. I'll try to be. Count says, do you think teams would work a couple wing tee plays into their playbook to mix it up, or do you hate it from high school? Nah, you're not doing that. RJ Renfro, does any ACC team have a chance to make the playoffs? If so, who? The champion of the conference. There's 2 of them. Lars Dietrich, 21. On Thursday, my friend's brother plays against Missouri. He's the quarterback for South Dakota. My friend's brother. So why isn't he your friend? His name is Jack Clottery. Can you keep an eye on him? No, I cannot. I don't watch FCS games all that often, and we're not talking about that today. Oh, he's playing Missouri? We'll see it on TV. Counts, do you think the ACC is the most balanced conference this season? I'd say Big 12. Was wondering your opinion. No, the most balanced conference? I don't know what you mean by balanced. The most difficult, I don't know what you mean. Pac-12's balanced, bro. Dylan Patrick says, are there any Division II schools you think should be Division I? Absolutely not. Andrew Farrow says, Jake Haener is Ian Book 2.0. Okay, hell of an assessment. Did you make that before the draft or after? Did you make that before preseason or after? It's really easy to make predictions with hindsight. Morgan Wayne says, LOL, at last year, man, I love this show. Thank you very much, Morgan Wayne. Andrew Lawley says, hey, Rico, do you think Mac Jones will develop into his old college system with Bob? Bill O'Brien. I have no earthly idea. Lars Dick says, hey, Rico, who's NC State's quarterback this year? It's Armstrong, and it should be MJ Morris, but it's Armstrong for now. Watch him. He's a transfer from Virginia. I'm not a big fan of him. Jim Rat says, thoughts on Jalen Hyatt? Go watch my NFL draft playlist. Dylan Patrick says, do you have any favorite athletes of all time? If so, who? Randy Moss. That's it. Just Randy Moss. Rico does not suffer fools gladly. Nah, DJ, not a chance in hell. Largic says, who's the best team in North Carolina this year? The best team in North Carolina is UNC. Yeah. Thoughts on JT Daniels? Talk about him on Sunday. Rice is a Group of 5 team. I don't talk about Group of 5 until Sundays. Sorry, guys. Hey, just remember, we have signups for Pick'em on ESPN. Go to ESPN Fantasy. It's the games. Go to College Pick'em. Make sure you pick Confidence. Join the group. We are the 10th largest group in America right now. We're beating everybody. Let's go. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace.
Move I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for